Oregon Soldiers in Iraq. I'm Dave Adams. I talk with Michael Storm, who is the 41st Brigade Command Sergeant Major, which is the senior non-commissioned officer for the brigade, now serving in Iraq, on what the soldiers are doing now.
Well, they're running convoys up and down the highways, basically all over southern and western Iraq, and running fuel and supplies back and forth. And we'll also be helping do the drawdown later on this year. We'll be moving equipment out of Iraq.
Michael, are there a lot of firefights, IEDs, and other armed conflicts with insurgents?
Not like it was when we were over here last time. There are still some IED attacks, EFPs, and some small arms fire, but nothing in comparison to what it was 3 years ago when the 2162 was over here.
So it's much quieter now.
Yes, it is.
So what is the morale like?
I think it's pretty good. Most of the bases that we live on, they're called COBs, are pretty nice. A lot of them have movie theaters, and some of them even have swimming pools there. So there's a lot of activities. The military has gone out of their way to try to keep soldiers busy on their downtime and make it as relaxing as possible for them. Living conditions are much better than they were years ago. Soldiers actually have what they call CHUs, which is controlled habitat units, and the soldiers live, 3 to a CHU, 3 people to a CHU, and can spread out a little bit more. And I think for the most part, everybody's pretty happy.
Okay, is this your first deployment?
No, this is actually my 3rd deployment.
How does this deployment compare with the others?
Well, my first deployment was the Gulf War, and there was no comparison. It was a completely different war back then. My second deployment was 0405 with 2nd Battalion, 2162 out of Oregon, and completely different at that time. I mean, we were engaged probably just about every day when we ran up and down the streets. We were landowners at that time, so we actually controlled the area that we patrolled. And this time, we're spread out all over spread out all over Iraq. And we don't necessarily own any land. We just escort vehicles to and from locations.
What's the day-to-day feeling tone of life in Iraq?
So far I don't think anybody has time to get bored. I mean, you're busy all day long, and it seems like something comes up that you have to go deal with or do every day. And the guys are keeping busy, so it makes the day go by faster. And I definitely would not say it's boring over here.
What can the public do to help?
The biggest thing is just keep supporting the military. Try to understand that we have a job to do over here, and we appreciate all the support we can get from everyone.
Let's talk about the letters from kids, and especially some people say that they don't want to write because they don't know any soldiers specifically to write to. But as far as the letters to any soldier, especially from kids, do those have an impact?
I think so. I think a lot of the soldiers really enjoy getting letters from kids, and the kids are really good about drawing pictures and stuff for them, and they ask them different questions that you don't expect to get once in a while. But the soldiers do a really good job of being tasteful and trying to reply back to them and let them know that they're thanking them for taking the time to write them a letter and send it to them.
Michael, you made a career of the military. How do you compare active duty or regular Army with the Oregon Guard soldiers?
I just love the teamwork. I love the fact that it's a big family, especially the Guard. I did 4.5 years active duty. When you're active duty, you do your tours and then you get it sent somewhere else, and you may or may not stay in touch with a few people. But in the Guard, it's a community of people that have lived and worked together. We bring an asset to a combat zone that the active duty doesn't have because we bring so many other job skills. Active duty, they're taught one thing, and we have so many different job skills from the people that work in the civilian world that it really enhances our abilities in country. And just overall, the Guard is great. It's all about family and taking care of each other. When we suffer, we all suffer together, and when we're having a good time, we're having a good time together.
That is Michael Storm, the 41st Brigade Command Sergeant Major, who is the senior non-commissioned officer for the Oregon Guard in Iraq. I'm Dave Adams. Take 5 is a production of 1110 KBND Radio News. Depend on us.